Guys, I fucked up. If you're not watching the video portion of this, let me give you a little descriptor. My hair is different. I took it upon myself a couple days ago, specifically last Thursday, to cut my own bangs with, and I say this regretfully, cuticle scissors. Those tiny little scissors. And this isn't the first time I've done this in my lifetime either. I did this about whenever I was 17. And I'm 23. And I did it again. I didn't learn my lesson the first time. Because I have a couple of things that I need to get off my chest. First and foremost, if you have been a listener since the very beginning, or if you just know me, my personal life, you know I have been unemployed. And I graduated, and we're coming up on almost a year ago. And I'm happy to report that I finally have a job. I mean, honestly, I was starting to just accept the fact that I was going to be poor, living at home, and jobless for the rest of my life. And I just accepted it. But no, we are making a rapid incline in my life right now. So it is currently 9 a.m. I woke up I've been awake for a while, since like 7:30, but I physically got up about 10 minutes ago. So if you can tell, hey, shut up. But back to the bank situation. Actually, I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I am going to be dramatic. And could it be worse? Yeah. And does it look not that great right now because I am in my PJs and I just woke up and they're like not really styled? Yeah. Yeah. But that's not the point. The fact of the matter is that I pissed my own self off and cut my own bangs for whatever ludicrous reason. Because the thing is, I got excited. I was like, oh my God, I have a job now. I was like on a high. I just got offered a job and I was like, oh my God, I'm a new person. And I have been watching those like there was like these videos of this one girl and she would like trim up her bangs and like they always looked so good. And the part where I went wrong was, well, you might be saying the part that I went wrong was whenever I picked up the scissors or even whenever I had the thought. But the part where I went wrong was the blending of it. Because let me see if you're watching. Let me just like pull my hair up. Okay. So the camera's too far away for me to really see, to be honest. So I actually don't know what I look like. I was like, oh, okay, I'll at least change out of my pajamas to record this. No. I really just said, you take it or you leave it. And that's it. So, yeah, I had to get that off my chest because that happened while I was away for the past week. And last week I talked about whether or not celebrities deserve privacy. And that was one of my favorite episodes that I've done recently, because I just love, I just feel like it really embodies like the argue with the wall idea, where it's like, we're going to take a question that could have some pretty strong feelings, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to explain to you why it's so important to me or why I feel the way that I feel. And if you disagree, hey, go argue with the wall, because right now this is a one-sided conversation. As much as you might be, thinking in your head responding to me, which I don't know if any of you do, but I do whenever I'm listening to podcasts. I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the day. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, when I'm talking about something on here, you're probably not going to change my mind. And so that was a fun one. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead. Spoiler alert, I do think they deserve privacy. There's a couple people in the world that don't think that they do. And I might just not ever change their minds, and that's fine. But go give it a listen. Hey, shh. Hey, computer. Shh. What do we have going on today? What's going on? Because I don't know. I waited to the last minute to record this. And full transparency, it's Tuesday. And this goes up tomorrow. And I still don't know what we're doing today. I was thinking maybe I could just talk to you about a few things that have happened recently. And then also like maybe some of my hot takes that I've curated over the past few weeks, and maybe things that just really pissed me off. Just like a little mismatch. We're just going to have a little chat this morning. Let me chug my coffee real quick because I don't think that I'm alive right now. That's so cringy. Like, don't talk to me before my coffee. Hey, shut up. But that's where I'm at right now. You know how like little kids drink, like out of any liquid a kid is drinking, it's just they're just like, why are they doing that? That's so insane. God, that's what I just felt like whenever I was drinking my coffee. But next on the agenda of things that have happened recently, besides me ruining my hair, Miss Olivia fucking Rodrigo, babe, and her sophomore album. Let's talk about it. I don't care. You could skip ahead, but I need to talk about this. I need to get this off my chest. I don't care if it's cringy or not relatable because I am a grown adult and she's freshly 20 years old. I don't give two shits, because if there's one thing about me, it's that I'm going to pretend that I relate to her issues. That I am a homeschooled girl who every time I step outside, it is social suicide. And yeah, I do have a boyfriend. And yes, I am happy. And it is a stable and committed relationship. But am I still going to scream sing Logical? Yeah. Yeah. And I want to talk about some lyrics that have really stuck with me when listening to this album repeatedly. Because I'll be honest, at first I was like highly disappointed. There was only like 2 songs where I was like, okay, this is good. This is good music. And then I kept listening to it and I was like, okay, here's the thing. I like the whole kind of punk rocky angsty genre, kind of like old Paramore, isn't really like my go-to vibe. So I was a little put off whenever I was listening to like All American Bitch or Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl, Ballad of a Homeschooler. I don't know. I was like, damn. Like, not that I expect, she's not writing music for the masses. So obviously she's writing these songs about her experiences. So if you relate to it, then that's great. But at the end of the day, it's for her. So I was like, oh, damn. Well, that's all right. Like, I like Bad Idea Right and, Vampire. But then I kept listening to it and I was like, wait a minute, no skips. Sometimes I'll skip Logical, or sometimes I'll skip Teenage Dream because sometimes I'm just not in that mood. But everything else, no skips. It's on repeat. I have had to like stop for a little bit and listen to some other things because I don't want to get sick of it. So I'm kind of like trying to, do a little long distance relationship, the little long D with the album. But some lyrics to highlight: Get Him Back, almost the entire song, but specifically these 2 lines. I am my father's daughter, so maybe I can fix him. Now there's more to this than you may think if you don't know the background of Miss Olivia. I found this out because of Twitter. And you might be thinking, like me, and like probably many others, at first when you listen to it, it's like, oh, she has daddy issues, or like there's some kind of relationship she has with her dad where she thinks that like she can fix men. No. While that could be valid for some people, and maybe it could be, I don't know, who knows. Her dad's a therapist. Her dad is a therapist. And therapists help people fix themselves and make them better. I am my father's daughter, a therapist, so maybe I could fix him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bar. Next, when he would say something wrong, he'd just fly me to France. Like, arguably the most unrelatable lyric in that in her entire discography, actually. But I am so happy for her. I get it though. That's the thing. Is that like that song is the epitome of greatness. Because it's like there's a word for it where it has like a double meaning. Taylor Swift uses this kind of literary device a lot. And it's like, oh, I want to get him back. Like, I want him back in my life. But it's also like, I want revenge on him. And I think that is just lyrical greatness at its core. Next, the affirmations at the end of All American Bitch, where it's like, I'm grateful and I'm kind. I'm pretty when I cry. It's just like unfiltered, that entire album. Next, I was too young, I was too soft, can't take a joke, can't get you off. No one's talking about that. Am I just like, is my mind just like a little gutter? Am I in the gutters right now? Because can't get you off? Doesn't that mean like you can't get them aroused? Or is there another meaning to that? And then another example of it just being absolutely unfiltered and unhinged is every guy I like is gay. And if you didn't know, her ex-boyfriend, Joshua Bassett, came out as a member of the LGBTQ community. She gets it. I get it. And that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, that album is a bop. I can't stop looking at my hair. This is tragic, actually. It looks especially bad right now. Probably because I just woke up. I'm about to put my glasses in my hair like it's they're sunglasses. Actually, the glasses aren't going on my face. They are going in my hair. Note to self, don't record an episode 10 minutes after you get out of bed. Because not only is my brain like, what are we doing? My appearance is also like, girl, hey girl, listen, like, you are Gorgina, you are everything, and totally fine if not, but like, you want to fix your hair a little bit, if not, still, you look gorgeous, but just wanted to let you know. That's what's going on in my head right now. That's what's happening. I usually cut out the sounds of me drinking throughout recording, I think I'm just going to stop and just like do it aggressively loud on purpose just to make some people uncomfortable. So next thing I want to dive into are just some recent thoughts that I've had in terms of like hot takes. And this is kind of what I've curated over time. So, you know, the brand Coach, like it's been around for a while, and for a long period of time, it was like trashy. Like there would just be Coach purses in the thrift store for like $4. Like nice Coach purses, nice Coach leather purses. And now everyone's realizing that Coach is like actually has good shit, and they're expensive as hell. I know they were always more of like they're not a luxury brand. They're like there's a word for it that I learned, but I can't remember it right now. But it's like a higher end brand, and people are starting to recognize it now. And there's no longer $4 Coach purses anymore. I don't care if it's not in style or if it's so 2000s. Their stuff is cute. If you haven't been on the Coach website recently, hey, what are you doing? Because they have some cute shit there. I just need to get that off my chest. Okay. I have a confession. This entire episode is actually just all of my confessions. I am a 12-year-old child because I love slime. I don't have it, but the videos, like the real aesthetic videos of them like scooping, like the scoopability of slimes, I love that shit. It's like Slime OG. And then I think there's another one. There's another company that I really like. But they make the most creative slime videos. And I am so incredibly tempted to get some, but I don't have any. But like one that's coming to mind right now is this like strawberry matcha slime, where it's like the strawberry like slime, but there's like so many different consistencies. Like it's not just one consistency. It's a very complex science. And then there's like a little matcha brownie on top, and then you mix it all together and it creates like this gorgeous fluffy like squishy clay slime. And then sometimes they'll have like a basket of fried chicken, but it's slime. And I don't understand how they get like the texture of the friedness. I fear that whenever I start to make adult money, grown-up money, that I will use it responsibly in some aspects, you know. Invest it, save it, whatever. But I also fear that I'm gonna buy like a bulk pack of slime from one of these companies because I can. And that's what happens when you give a 23-year-old teenage girl access to thousands of dollars. And that's gonna be me. And for a long time, I've enjoyed watching ASMR videos. And I've never like wanted to admit that, because I feel like for a while, and even now still, I think people just think of the very cringy ASMR, because there are definitely some out there like the cosplaying, and if you like that, that's totally fine, but like that's not the kind I like. I'll occasionally dabble in like the food ASMRs, but now it's more of like just soft spoken, maybe like some mic brushing or doing your makeup, or like tapping, or whenever there's like little wood blocks, it's like wood soup, and people will put water in a wooden bowl, and then fill it with like little wooden blocks, and then mix it around, and the microphone is like sometimes it's inside the bowl, under the bowl, on top of the bowl, and it makes just the most like mesmerizing sound I've ever heard in my life. And just hear me out on it. Don't knock it till you try it. Because it's like, oh, ASMR. Like, just like there are definitely some cringy, like, ASMRs out there. But what I like is very mild. It's like a mild hot sauce, where it has a little tang to it. But it's not like, I'm not a seasoned veteran in terms of ASMR. Like I think, I'm trying to think of the weirdest, like not slime videos, but the weirdest ASMR videos I've dabbled in. Honestly, probably just like the food ones, I'd assume, because that's not for everyone. Like the mouth sounds of like chewing things. Sometimes it definitely does get a little bit too much, but in general, it's pretty manageable for me. But yeah, don't knock it till you try it, guys. Next thing. I need a shot of tequila or something to talk about this next topic. Let me chug my coffee and leave all of the mouth sounds and swallowing sounds in. All right. POV. You're back in school. If you still are, you're back in like elementary school, middle school, maybe even high school. And you come home, you're doing your homework, you have your after school snack, your parents come home, your mom comes home, whoever. And you're like, hey, what are we having for dinner tonight? And they say pork chops. What if I killed myself? What if I sucked off a shotgun? Those dry, so many nightmares of coming home from school and finding out I'm having a dry ass, hello dears, someone woke up. Coming home to find out after a long ass day in my school was arguably felt like a jail and looked like one and smelled like one, to find out I'm having a dry piece of meat slapped on a plate. Now I get it, okay? I'm grateful I had food on my plate. That's not what this is about. This is about the fact that I would rather have butter noodles or a can of peas than a dry pork chop that I'm gnawing on for dear life. Doesn't matter how much barbecue sauce or whatever I'm putting on that thing. It does not matter. It's like it's dehydrated. I've never had a moist pork chop. Granted, I haven't had meat since like 2016, but pork chops are half the reason. Whenever I think about like, oh, maybe I'll like start eating meat again, or maybe one day, or like if I'm craving, meat every once in a while, that'll happen. I just think about pork chops and I'm like, keep your meat. I don't want it. Keep your meat. I don't want it. Yeah. I don't know. I think I was talking to my dad. I don't know. But here is my hot take. Fuck cemeteries and fuck funeral homes. Okay. Not only, okay, so I feel like everyone knows that it's really expensive to die, basically. Like a coffin is a lot of money, a funeral is a lot of money. Even if you don't, get an expensive coffin, or even if you don't have a funeral, you still have to pay to do something with your body. Whether you're gonna get burned or buried, you got to pay for it. And then on top of that, you also have to pay for a death tax, basically, to the government. So don't die if you can't afford it. But also don't stay alive if you can't afford it. Here's my beef with cemeteries. I think maybe the reason I got so riled up about this at the time was because my grandfather's grave, like the plaque of it, the really like $5,000 plaque, that says his name and everything, has designs on it. They were driving over them, I guess, to bury another nearby body, and they cracked it. And so now they're putting up a little fit about like paying for it, but they did it. So obviously they're going to have to fix it. And I just feel like they're not very respectful of it. Then also on the same token, I don't like the idea of there being all of these expensive ass wooden boxes in the ground. Like, you buy it and then you get rid of it. And not only is it not good for the earth, like, it's not decomposable. Like, your body is disintegrating in there, but your coffin isn't. So you're telling me you're going to pay for this? I don't even know how expensive a coffin is. Let's look it up, actually. A coffin is between $2,000 and $5,000. So that's not including also booking the funeral home. That leads me into my beef with funeral homes. They literally are preying on the grief of people who just lost someone that they love. And they eat it up. It's like, do you want to add this to your package? I know you want to make this a beautiful event, and like just adding shit onto their bill. I could not imagine running a funeral home and charging people to, like, out the wazoo, might I add, and like hand them the bill after they just got done sobbing and burying their husband. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for choosing us. Here's your bill. What? It pisses me off. I wish I were more riled up about this like I was in the moment, because I'm still basically asleep. But just know in my heart that I fucking hate funeral homes and I hate cemeteries. Now you might be wondering, which you probably aren't, hey, what do you plan on doing with your body whenever you die? Plot twist, I'm not dying. My body's going to get frozen. And then right before the world ends, I want someone to unfreeze my body so I can experience how the world ends and see if I feel any kind of like pain. If it's like exploding because the sun is encapturing the entire globe, I want to see if I can like feel that. Is that insane? Maybe. But I also kind of just want to see like if the first woman president in the US isn't going to happen until like 2200, like freeze my body until then, and then defrost me so I can see how that's going. And I can imagine that, if a woman is president, a lot of people are going to have some strong opinions about that. Bad ones, might I add. And maybe that's how the world ends. All the misogynistic men and women in the world just are like, we're not standing for this. And then they like nuke the world and that's it. And they just use an Oppenheimer style atomic bomb and it just destroys the planet. I wouldn't be surprised if misogyny ended the world. Like we got a woman president. It's like, oh my God, yes. And then the world just ended. It's like, God, we asked for one thing. And then the world just ended. So yeah, freeze my body until then. The only thing I'm doing with my body is it getting exploded by the world ending. But in more realness, I'm thinking I kind of want to be planted into a tree of some sort, maybe. Something that's like a little bit more environmentally friendly. Who knows what they're going to have by the time I die? And that's assuming that I'll die in, how old am I right now? 23. So what, 60 years? God, that's a long time. I still got a while to go, huh? I've talked about this before, and I feel like I need to say it, every few months. Mint chocolate chip ice cream deserves to be in hell. Whatever, like Inferno's 7 rings of hell or whatever that is, like mint chocolate chip ice cream is the devil's favorite flavor, because that flavor is for sinners. That flavor is awful. Mint should only be in my mouthwash, my floss, my toothpaste, and an actual mint. Like you're sucking on a mint. Mint should never cross with dairy or chocolate. Now, this is going to be very contradicting. I do enjoy those Andes candies. The ones that you get at Olive Garden. I don't know if they still do that, but I enjoy those. I don't mind those. Which you might be thinking, Lily, that's literally mint chocolate chip ice cream. No, there's a difference, because mint chocolate chip ice cream has cream in it. It's a creamy. I don't want creamy mint. Hey, that's what mint chocolate chip ice cream is. It's milk. It's mint milk. That's disgusting. Next, every 4 months, I wrote this down probably like a week ago. Every 4 months, I remember I have a belly button and clean it out. And when I say clean it out, I mean, I just take like, a little Q-tip, get in there. But this time I really got in there. And, I was digging around in there, and I was using, alcohol, rubbing things off so it wasn't like infecting anything. But I think I got a little too overzealous with it, because before I knew it, 2 days later, my belly button is inflamed, red, and steaming. My belly button was steaming. And it just progressively got worse. And then on Saturday, a couple days ago, it was like, so fucking gross. It's like yellow and flaky. And I was like, why? It's like crusting up. It was like holding on for dear life. And where I was, I didn't have, what's it called? Peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. So I had to use isopropyl alcohol, and that burned like a bitch. But I needed like hydrogen peroxide so it could like bubble up, disinfect things, and like get any of that infection out from the bottom of my belly button up to the top. So the past couple days have not been very great for my belly button. It's on the mend, but this is a lesson to be learned, to just like next time I want to clean up my belly button, I'm just going to put peroxide in it. Let anything that's like can float, let that come to the top, wipe it, and then leave it alone, because my belly button is holding on for dear life. And my friends were like, oh, maybe you have a yeast infection in your belly button. What? I thought that was for vaginas and vaginas only. I didn't know my belly button could get a yeast infection. So, moral of the story, don't fuck with your belly button like I did. Even though I don't care how satisfying it is that, oh, like, look at all this stuff that I'm getting out of, like, the creases. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Seafood and buffet should never be in the same sentence unless that sentence is seafood and buffet should never be in the same sentence. Let's talk about it. A seafood buffet, any kind of buffet makes me a little ill, like thinking about it, not actually because I don't participate in them. Because it's just like a cesspool of disgusting germs that, like, there's no way that seafood is being kept at the right temperature. And how long has it been out? You're going there for dinner. POV, you're going to a sushi buffet. Just that sentence makes me gag. And it's like 6 p.m. How long do you think that sushi has been sitting there? And for a split second, it is enticing because sushi is one of my favorite foods. And if I can catch a deal on sushi and just eat a shit ton of it until I want to die, that sounds like a good time. But then the thought of it sitting there, like, it has to go against some FDA food inspection health code violation. I don't know how buffets are, like, actually allowed. Now, are buffets, like, is that just an American thing? Let's Google it. Apparently, they are not a American thing. But I will say that, but I'm talking about, like, all you can eat buffets. I'm not talking about just, like, oh, you're at a party and there's, like, you know, like a buffet table. I'm talking like in all you can eat, there is just piles of seafood waiting for you. You know, because like when you're on vacation, they have like the breakfast buffet. Like that's, I feel like, a little different. Like I don't have a problem with buffets. It's really just the seafood one that's making me a little queasy. And that's all I got today. I'm going to save the other ones for another time because they require a little bit more time and energy. And I'm just going to leave those rants for another time. So thanks so much for listening. If you want, you can follow the podcast on Instagram. And please like this podcast, rate it. It helps me out a lot. And it I don't know, whatever else you want to do. Or if not, I don't know. If you just, you might, I don't care. Actually, you want to know what? I don't care. So, but I do care that you listened. So thank you for that. And think twice next time you want to go to a seafood buffet. And think about what you're really signing up for, which is insanity. So thanks for listening, and we'll chat next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but we're going to find out in 7 days. All right. Mwah. Goodbye.